Black love is something that needs to be really highlighted because it's not highlighted enough. Obviously you see black people when they have struggles and what the hardships they're going to, so you don't really get to kind of see genuine black love between people.
We're in love and we're black, and
right.
We know a lot of people like us that are in love and they're black.
Yep.
But we don't see ourselves anywhere when it comes to black love appreciation. So we wanted to create a show where we just highlight and appreciate black love in all of its forms. Really not all of its forms, but its alternative form or its LGBTQIA plus form.
Being accountable, as in being accountable for your actions, things that you say. I think that is very important because you're not always blaming, nobody's ever blaming each other for something that somebody else did. And you're able to address the fact that you did this or you said this, and that was the issue. To me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everything. But it doesn't always happen because you're not always accountable. You think
I think that I am. No. What am I not accountable for? Like when I hurt your feelings and stuff?
Right. You never.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is explanation. This is not an excuse. Me being accountable for hurting your feelings is because I said it blunt. It was my honesty, but it's not always intended to hurt your feelings. It's just how I took, like what I took away from it and then how I gave it back to you or what I said back to you. And then you're like, oh my God, baby, you hurt my feelings. So whose fault is that? Like, where does the accountability go in that situation?
Well, like I said, I don't like ketchup and you keep putting ketchup on my plate. It's like you know I don't like ketchup. You want me to eat ketchup? No, I said that I don't like it. So you kind of find a way around, like not hurting people's feelings.
Okay, you're talking about me hanging up on you. Okay. But that's I know exactly what you're talking about. But here's the thing. I'm well aware that I'm a Scorpio, so I sting first and I ask questions later. If I know that whatever you're about to say is going to piss me clean the fuck off, I'm going to hang up the phone. Because you're going to say it, and you do this because you're a hothead, so you say things in the midst of something. Oh my gosh. You say things and then you'll call later and be like, babe, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean it like that. It was just, I couldn't catch it before it comes out. You don't think before you speak. I've said this 1,000 times. I get quiet because I'm overanalyzing what I say, and you just say shit, and I'll be like, oh, okay. Now when I hang up on your ass, you're gonna be mad. And as soon as I hang up, you text me like, oh, okay, you just needed time to be with that other bitch. And then when I respond, and I be like, yup, she over here, then you blow my phone up. No, damn well, ain't nobody got over here in 2 seconds of us getting off the phone.
Response. Obviously, I know that, but who says that?
Then who says that? You just wanted time to spend with your other bitch. What other bitch? Where did she come from?
You know I say it all the time.
That makes it okay?
No.
But you know I don't like it, so now who's being accountable?
I don't like to be ignored.
I don't like when you say stupid shit.
Like what?
You just got off the phone with her? No! Listen, your response, your go-to is like, oh, okay, I know what this is. Yeah, you just want to get off the phone to be with your other bitch. Like, that's your go-to. What other imaginary bitch there is?
Yeah, I know that annoys you, but it's not because I think that.
Okay, so you know it annoys me and you do it anyways. I know hanging up the phone annoys you and I do it anyways.
But usually you just hang up the phone because you don't want to take accountability for whatever you're talking about.
I like what you did there.
A lot. I think that it's very important to be accountable, and not just for mistakes, but definitely be aware. I'll say definitely be aware of what you bring to the table, in general. Make sure you know what you have to offer to each other, and you got to be accountable of. I'll definitely highlight. You definitely got to be accountable of mistakes or even things that. If you know that they don't like something, you got to keep that in mind. Just always know, you want to always put them first. You always want to try to always put each other first, the relationship first in general.
Because if you can't be accountable for things, then at the end of the day, it'll never work.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in a relationship, sometimes we get into this phase to where it's the blame game.
Yeah.
To where it's like, I want to blame you, but it's really not, I don't want to blame you. I want you to be accountable for what you did, and I want you to understand how it made me feel, and I just want you to address it. I don't want your excuse to why you did it. I want you to address the fact that I feel this way because of something you did. And I think that's truly what accountability is. Because it's one thing to own something, but it's one thing to own it in a sense to, I apologize for making you feel this way. These weren't my intentions. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's the most important thing. Because at the end of the day, what's done is done. Yeah. If you did it, it's done. But what happens is, what do you do after the fact? And do you care that you did it? Do you care about how I feel about it? Because I think that's that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
You see why you looked at me? Because I stay on her neck about this. When I saw it on the paper, I said, we go talk this thing through. Accountability, not just in a relationship, but as a person, is so important for growth. And I have been on Sean's neck about this because Sean think is her against the world, and I have to explain to her, find what you did. Find how you could have done better. You spend a lot of energy on what they could have did, but what could you have done, and what did you do? And we definitely, I'm on her neck about that. And I can stay on her neck about that because it was something I wasn't good at. And again, experiences, a lot of things. Every year I do a self-evaluation of what I need to change and what I need to fix for myself. And accountability was something. Accountability and communication was two things that I sucked at. So I worked my butt off on. So now that I know the steps to take, I can help her with it, because I have to always explain. Even with her mom's situation, I'm like, what did you do? How do you make it better? And I think it's so important, just as a person, just to grow and to be the best version of you. How do you feel about accountability, babe?
I never, on the real, I'm an only child. I'm usually by myself. So I don't really think, I didn't think that I did a lot, but
let him use you.
She's showing me that stuff that I felt like I wasn't doing. Like, she'll say, when we first started talking, she was like, what would your exes say about you? And I'm like,
I always ask that question. You said it wrong. If I got all your exes in a room, what would they all say was their issue with you?
Okay. I say nothing.
And I went off. I went off.
But I felt like because I didn't cheat, because I didn't hang out, because I didn't go off with my friends, because I wasn't doing X, Y, and Z, that I wasn't doing anything. And talking to somebody who is going to show you your part in it, it was more like, well, the problem could have been that you did everything that they asked. And I never thought about it like that. Like, I'm trying to make you happy. I'm trying to keep this person interested. I'm trying to keep them from doing whatever. So I would do X, Y, and Z. And now looking at it, it's like, well, that was my fault, because I did do such and such, or I didn't do such and such. It's not always cheating. It's not always, I wasn't texting nobody. I wasn't calling anybody. I wasn't doing any of that. But I wasn't, instead of dealing with a problem, I would pacify it. So if I didn't like something, I wouldn't say anything until it got to the wire and it was an argument. Now it's more like, okay, we're not going to argue. We're going to talk about what it was or what you don't like. She'll ask me if I like something. I've never had that before. So now that it's like somebody asking me how I feel or what is my outtake on it, it's like, Before, it was just buy. I'm just going to buy this. I'll just buy this. You want to go out, I'll stay at home. You don't want me to go nowhere. I won't. And it was like everything somebody else wanted me to do, I did. So I felt like I wasn't doing anything. But now looking at it, I was creating monsters. I was aiding monsters and doing what they were doing because I wasn't saying anything. So
I also have to explain to Sean that people don't just break up because of cheating. It's financial, it's emotional stress, and it's a lot of things that goes with it. And I have to explain to her, I said, people often cheat, even if it's not sexual, because they're lacking something. I have to explain to her if they can't talk to you, or if the finances aren't right, or and I have to explain that to her so she understands her accountability in that, which helps trigger whatever behaviors another person was doing. So
it's really important. You have to know what you're doing and what the repercussions of it is. So it's really, really important that you understand that if you do something, that there's going to be some form of, you just have to think about before you do.
That's true. I feel the same way.
Accountability in relationship to me now means that if you feel a way, just acknowledge that you feel a way. Like, if I've done something, if I've made you feel a way, then also taking responsibility for the way that my role in the situation, acknowledging what I did to make the situation, it made it worse. So that, to me, that's accountability. It's just realizing your faults in whatever the situation is. What about you?
I'm like a proud mom right now. No, you know that's how I feel. I feel like be accountable for yourself. There are so many people who are not accountable for themselves. It's like people don't like themselves to the point of like not being able to just be honest about who they are. And I personally don't understand that because I don't have that problem. If I did it, I did it. If I said it, I said it. If I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Like, I never understood what's the repercussion for me saying it wasn't me, you know? So for me, accountability in your relationship has always been, even I remember being a teenager and I would tell my mom. She would get so mad. But I never understood like why you can't just be accountable for your own actions. And so for me, for sure, like just you can't make it to the next step of fixing the problem if you cannot acknowledge the true scope, the full scope of the problem. And a part of the full scope is you sometimes. More often than not, it's going to be you. And so that's what accountability means to me. Just be honest about who you are and then take whatever you're going to get, from that. That's the only way that you're going to be able to move forward.
Yeah, that's true.
oh, go ahead.
Accountability in a relationship to me means being there, meaning what you say, doing what you say, following through, stuff like that. Like,
Oof. I think that's probably like the biggest thing in a relationship. I think that's something that we had to learn, figure out. To just, okay, it was me, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, just be responsible for your shit. Like, and I think that's the most important. And people can respect that, and people can deal with that a lot better than you bullshitting them or lying to them about it, or not wanting to just take responsibility for what you did, or regardless, even if you don't feel like it all the time, even if you don't think that it, just to say like, look, I'm sorry if that made you feel that way. Even if the back of your head you feel like you ain't do it, it's all right to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think we hold each other accountable in other ways too. You know what I'm saying? Like, she be like, you need to work on that painting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, you need to sign up and do these casting calls. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, accountability is going to be important always. You know what I'm saying? In all ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you know you fucked up, step up to that shit and live in it and tell your partner that you fucked up and what you're going to do to change that.
right.
And just like she said prior, just checking in, you know, if something is wrong or I'm feeling some type of way or she's feeling some type of way, we just kind of talk through it instead of letting it linger.
Yeah, or even, I think the longest we've been mad at each other probably is like still under 24 hours.
Yeah.
So usually like when, usually if we have a problem, we always talk about it.
Pretty accountable.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I mean,
if I said it, I said it.
Yeah. If I said I was gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. You know, sometimes he may say he's gonna do something but forget to do it, but I'll run it back by him and say,
Hey, I
hey.
forget to do it? Or just I haven't done it yet.
You probably just haven't done it yet. See, the way I do things, I do it. And then, you know, when I get around to it, I'm gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. But he's not that bad. It's like small things, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna buy some windshield wipers for the car, but yeah, it never really.
I possibly could have forgot.
You could have forgot.
Yeah,
but it's never nothing.
If
like,
I don't do it right then,
you're gonna get around to it.
I'm gonna get around to it, or you gotta remind me.
Yeah, and I normally do.
I feel like I'm very accountable.
You're so full of shit.
I do. I feel like I'm always
okay. So you know you're a dick. You're being accountable for being a dick, but you're okay. So that counts.
Do you think honesty is accountability? Because they're different.
Yes, I think so.
So when I'm honest with you,
you can be honest and not be mean though.
So this so my honesty is my accountability. So it still counts as me being accountable.
Yeah, but still okay. Next question.
I don't know about this.
I think that we both take accountability for our actions. We're both very accountable for our actions to a certain extent. I think, me personally, I think that it takes a lot to pull out of him sometimes. I'm not saying that he's not accountable. He definitely knows. But I think sometimes it falls on me to be more accountable on certain things, you know. But that's my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean, I think I don't know, and I guess
it's a weird question.
My secrets out. But I think sometimes I kind of sit back and just watch, like, let me see what he gonna do about this, or let me see, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that whether we want to say it or not, we're always evaluating our other half. And so it's kind of like, for me, it's like mental test in my head. Like, let me see. It's like little things that he does that I notice that makes me feel comfortable. Like I don't know if you remember this, but we went to South Africa and there was a bomb threat in South Africa and people were like running all over the mall.
This is not funny. It's not funny.
And he like grabbed me and was like, come on, we gotta go, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it made me feel some type of way, because I'm like, this nigga is like risking his life to make sure I'm good. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of shit I need to be in. You know what I'm saying? Because in the other bodies, they'll be like, deuces, like, I see you on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like a lot of times I kind of sit back and I watch those moments. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of see how things are, because I'm not going to say I know what to do, but sometimes I'll wait to do it just to kind of like, let me just see what he going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see how this going to be.
It ain't like a good bomb threat to pull somebody together. Get that right, baby.
Well,
I'm very accountable for
myself. I will say I'm accountable, because I'm actually getting to the point now where it's just like, if I'm doing something, it has to be a purpose. And I have to, whether it's good or bad, I need to be able to say I did it. So I think I'm getting there. It's a work in progress, but I'm getting there.
I'm there. I'm very accountable for my actions. Some things sometimes I don't know that I'm doing, but if everybody bring it to my attention, then I'm like, okay, I can work on it. I'm at that level.
I think that I'm the most accountable person I know.
Anybody that thinks like Lacie would think that.
You don't think I am? Ouch. I think that, no, I genuinely think that, like, I'm super duper accountable. I think that if it was me, if it wasn't me, if I did it, if I said it, you know, whatever. If I made that mistake, I apologize. And then I want to know how we can move forward. I'm not good with like lying, but I'm also the kind of person who's not going to take your burden on. So if you did it or you said it, then don't ask me to claim that because it's not on me. So you claim it and then we can move on from there.
I think I'm accountable, but not to the magnitude that she wants. And again, it goes back to like the example of a text message. Like to me, if you know we're upset with each other and I don't text you back, I don't have to tell you that when you ask me why I didn't text you back, oh, it's because I didn't want to speak to you.
No,
when I could also just literally, I want to speak to you when I see you. I will see you when I get home. We can talk about it.
That's an answer, but your answer can't be I didn't see, and that's if we're gonna use that example. It's like if we're upset with each other and you leave and I text you and then you don't respond, and then you come home and I'm like, why didn't you text me? And your answer to that question, your genuine true answer is, oh, because I knew I was going to see you when I got home. But that wasn't the fact. That, you know, yeah, you were going to see me, obviously, because you had to get home. But you knew that the reason you didn't text me was because you did not want to, because you were upset. You can say that.
So, yeah, that's what I deal with. So, to me,
that's what I deal with.
Yeah, it's just like,
say it.
You know.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
There could be plenty of reasons. Oh, my gosh, my phone died. I got in a crazy car accident. My phone flipped. Like,
so back to me
somebody
saying
else had my phone.
That I don't like to say things that make people upset, and she's more accountable in that. I didn't disagree with that. It's just kind of like I don't have to tell you that I didn't want to speak to you in that moment all the time, because this is just one example.
But you do.
I can just tell you. I mean, I'm gonna see.
But you do home. Because if you don't say I didn't want to speak to you in that moment, then my response can't be okay. Well, why? Let's talk about it. If your reasoning, if what you're going to tell me, what's going to come out of your mouth is, well, it's just because I know I would see you when I get home, my response won't be one that helps us get to that next level. You take that from me, right? Because then I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Boom, we done, right? You don't get to acknowledge that you have a problem or that you had a problem, and then I don't get to ask how we can fix it. So just be honest and be like, I didn't text you back because I didn't want to talk to you because you did some dumb stuff or you made me upset. And then it's like, okay, cool, what I do and how can we move forward. But you take that away when you like don't say that, right? Or then you're just kind of like, I just feel like if you say it, say it. If you did it, say you did it. If you mean it, say it. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I didn't want to text you back because I was upset.
So that situation happened like, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And in this moment is when it actually clicked to me. It made sense to me of what her side of where she was coming from in that situation. So it makes sense that I didn't give you the chance to move on to the next step because I never presented it in that way. So yes, I'm less accountable than she is.
No, the question was not who's more accountable.
It says, how are you accountable?
How are you accountable?
I try to understand where she's coming from when I've made her upset and try to fix that or work on that for myself. So to me, I'm accountable in the sense where I might not have seen it or was able to acknowledge it at the time, but then I try to fix it on the backhand of things and present and hopefully prevent it from happening again. So I think that's how I'm accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
It would be a hard pill to swallow, man, but you know.
I always think I don't do nothing.
Always.
I say what I used to tell you like when we first started dating.
I don't feel like that shit.
No. Not that. I'm talking about when I used to tell you I'm a Leo, so I'm always what I tell you, I'm always right and I'm perfect.
Oh,
and
yeah,
a lot of times I feel like that. Like, you know.
You do.
I do. So I'm not good at it. Corey is a lot better. Like, but then I'm also more like, I'll tell her like, no, you did this and you did this and like, and so Corey is more like understanding to it. Like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm like, don't fucking tell me I did nothing wrong. Cause I don't want to have to say I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell your ass anyway.
I don't want to say I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
But if I really truly feel like I fucked up, I'm okay with saying that. Like I'm alright with being the bigger person.
Girl, you be wrong. And I be telling you.
And you be telling me, and I still don't care.
Still don't.
I'm working on it.
Like I said, it's a hard pill to swallow, you know, like when you fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But you fuck up and you just hope that the other person understands that you only human and you gonna fuck up from time to time. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, you gotta listen to what they saying and kind of really think about, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't see what they see in you. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta kind of look at it and just suck it up and like fix that shit. Fix yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's all. And
you do a good job at fixing yourself.
Fixing myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, just self-aware too at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's always gonna be pretty easy for me, you know, to do.
I always feel like I ain't did shit.
Girl, a brat.
Of course, you gotta be able to know that you've made a mistake.
Right.
And you both know that there's a mistake that has been made, and it's been communicated that there's a mistake that's been made.
Yeah.
So once we get there, pretty much, you
then
know,
we can move past it.
Apologize. Be sincere in your apology.
Absolutely.
And kiss and make up and cuddle and move on, honey. You can't dwell too long in certain places.
Yeah, and that's another thing, again, teachable moment. He taught me that, you know, you just gotta move on. It's not that deep. Just chill. That's one of our things he tells me or used to tell me.
Just chill.
For
real.
It's gonna be all right. Just chill.
I promise you, if you just breathe a little bit,
it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be okay. Just chill.
Yeah. I've been chilling.
See, and it worked.
Yeah, it does.
It worked.
It does.
Just chill. Settle down.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay. See?
I try to be accountable when it comes to everything I do.
And I'm still learning because prior to her, I was in a really toxic relationship. So being in a relationship where is peaceful and is positive energy, I'm still trying to kind of like fight the toxicity from my old relationship and not to bring it into this one. So yeah, just kind of like talking through things basically.
I guess that's where my patience come in too.
Right.
Cause I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Cause between that and also just having an open perspective, you try to, if somebody is lashing out or feeling some type of way, try to figure out what's the root of it and where it's coming from, and realize that it's not coming from like an ill intent.
Right. And not everybody has that kind of patience, so I'm really grateful for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Every mistake is a learning lesson. If you don't get the lesson that needs to be taught, then of course there's no way to move on. But you just have to analyze the entire situation. Once you analyze that situation and pull out what you need to know, you should be able to learn and move on.
That's true. And pretty much basically what he said, you address it, know the mistake you've made, and take ownership for it, and then hopefully you've learned the lesson that need to be learned, and that way you can definitely move on.
How do we move on from mistakes and problems? Say what we gotta say about it and just move on. And take it for what it is. If you don't like it, you just don't like it. But like, get what you gotta say out and just move on with it.
I'm right. Man. Period. How do you She apologized because she messed up and we good.
No, I think we move on our communication.
Yeah.
We learn from our mistakes,
yeah,
and we talk about it. If it's something that she doesn't like, she quick to say it. Me, it might take a little minute, but I have to figure out how to say it because I always try not to be confrontational or hurt anybody's feelings or say it in a mean way. So I try to gauge it in a certain type of way, but we talk, we communicate. That's communication. We just talk. That's our.
We talk out our problems, and we don't let anything that's unsettling to us go. We don't let it linger. Like, we try to address it and figure out the best course of action. So
time. It takes time. Because, you know, obviously you make mistakes. It's, you know, both of us, not just, you know, I wouldn't say just me and not just him. We both make mistakes. We both made mistakes throughout the duration of it. You know, on the outside looking in, sometimes it looks perfect, but, you know, it's not. Nobody's perfect. And I can't expect him to be perfect. And I know he don't expect me to be perfect. You know, we have to just, all we have to do is just kind of realize who the person is and make sure that we hold them accountable. We definitely hold them accountable and make sure, you know, that they're trying. All I want to know at the end of the day, are you trying? You know what I'm saying? Are you acknowledge that you made this mistake? You know, let's not try to make the same one. You know, let's move on together and let's try to fix that problem. You know, so time, but all that takes time.
That takes time. I mean, I agree with it. I don't think there's anything I could really add to it, but other than that, like, it definitely takes time and, you know,
understanding.
Yeah, the biggest thing, understanding, because I think that's the hardest part of any relationship is understanding the other person because you're not that person.
Yeah. I feel like we just move on, like, but I don't know. How do you move on from mistakes?
If I make them, I just move on, and if they're made and they affect me by somebody else, I'd be like, let's talk about this right now so that you never do this again.
Okay.
No. I think that, honestly, a lot of times when a mistake is made in our relationship, you know, something done by one person that affects the other person, I think that the person who's affected, we just talk about it. Yeah. And a lot of times when you understand why somebody did something, it helps you not be upset about it or bothered. It helps you just better understand what it was or what it is. And then we just acknowledge it. I didn't know, because we're still learning each other. So a lot of like our mistakes are kind of small. Nobody's cheating or dipping out or doing, you know, weird stuff. But it's like mistakes are going to happen. Just talk about it, acknowledge it. If it affected you, then let the person that you're in a relationship know. Like, we let each other know, this affected me and I didn't like it, or this isn't what I'm going to deal with, or, you know, whatever the case.
Right.
And then we just kind of make it like mental note. Okay, let's just not do that again.
Right. I think mental notes is definitely a good thing to talk about too, just because like mental notes and also acknowledging too. So this year, for whatever reason, I'm on this whole like your feelings are valid thing, and also trying to voice
for whatever reason,
trying to voice you know, my opinions, my feelings, my actions, take responsibility, be more accountable, as well as, you know, if she's right, just acknowledge that she's right. You know, like not always making that mental note, because sometimes it doesn't give her the acknowledgement that her feelings are valid, or, you know, things like that. So making a mental note and be like recognizing in the moment, all right, let's make sure this doesn't happen again, and trying to, you know, resolve it in a different way, or just, you know, handle things differently because of the mental note that you had before. And then also still acknowledging how the other person felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I would say expressing myself more if it's something where I may feel like I'm struggling or having a bad day or just not in the best mood. Usually I'm the type, I stick to myself. I don't really express. I just want to have my space and figure it out on my own. So just being able to communicate more with her with that. Because she may be the type where, you know, what's wrong? And I may be like, it's nothing. But it really is something, even though it may not be something that's directed towards her. It could just be something general. Yeah, and that's usually what she'll say. Like, the energy just don't feel right. What's going on? And I just have been learning to communicate more. Because also, too, that kind of helps me push through it as well.
Right. As far as, like, expression, I feel like I'm the more expressive one when it comes to when something is wrong. But because I didn't have that in prior relationships, it's still kind of new for me as well. So just being able to express myself when something is wrong in a relationship.
Isn't that so hard?
I would say, what? Well, I think we had to take accountability for, just completing our own sentences, whether it hurts the other feelings or not. Like, if something annoys us, I think we should take accountability instead of saying, so I believe, never mind. We should be able to say, so I believe we should get, take care of this because of the fact that if we don't, it's going to cause these issues.
During, like, when we first were dating, I lied about some shit. You know how you just, like, I'm taking accountability. You see me fucking being a big girl right now. You see this shit?
I see you.
Okay. I mean, you first start dating somebody and you really unsure about it. You like, do I like get this person 100% of me? Do I, you know what I'm saying, like what they got going on? I don't really know. Like, you unsure about it because you still getting to know people and people ain't always what they seem to be. So it make you question what you doing, and it make you it kind of sometimes clouds your judgment when it comes to things. So I lied about some stuff, and like I definitely, like, once it was like said and done and out in the open, like I didn't have a choice but to just take accountability for it and just own up to my shit, like. And I think that inside of me, I was feeling like me telling the truth was going to, like, fuck up everything, and it was going to ruin everything, and I wouldn't have had a chance to really, like, experience anything with you or anything. So it was like, but I think, like, afterwards, and me being able to, like, just say, like, just, it's okay, and that's just what it is, and be honest with you, and you being understanding, and you know what I'm saying, it's just a different type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess in them situations and stuff, you don't have no choice but to be accountable.
Right. Something I had to hold myself accountable for is, even though she said, you know what I'm saying, I'm a sweetheart and everything, I am a nice person, but, I do have a very short fuse, so I can be mean sometimes, and I can yell and stuff, you know what I'm saying, and and she really made me realize that I can't just be flying off the handle all the fucking time. I can't just fight everybody, and you know what I'm saying, I can't just go crazy and go wild and yell and all the time, you know what I'm saying, even though I feel like I got the right to if somebody pissed me off. She just kind of calmed me down, I guess. And but it was hard as hell to realize that I was even that way, but it's better.
Well, I could just say with the ex, I had to take accountability that I may have been pacifying some of her behaviors, and I had to take into account that it bothers her. And even though I feel like I'm still an adult and I can make my own decisions, you got to trust me. I also have to understand that if it's bothering her that much, I have to take it into account. Like, okay, this is really a problem, and I think that's mainly what I have to take account in our relationship. Other than that, I'm like pretty much really close to perfect. So I don't really, but I think, and then my attitude. and one thing I can say with her, and I try not to, because I told you I could just end the conversation and be done. Don't talk to me no more about it, okay? But I'm trying I'm trying to get to a place where even if she has to repeat it 5 times, to listen to it at least 3. So I'm working a balance with that because.
But she will apologize. Like if she says something and she knows that it was just
harsh.
too much, she'll come back like, okay.
I'm really good at that.
But look, I meant what I said, but
I didn't mean how I said it.
And I can take that because before it was just somebody did it, said it, and that was it. Yeah. She'll at least come back like, okay, this is how we gonna do this. Let's talk about this, or I meant it in a certain type of way, and I respect that. I can genuinely, I love that because I know that she's listening, and that she's also thinking about how I feel, and not just being selfish. So it's.
Want to do that one thing tonight?
You go first, and then I'll go.
I'm thinking, like, and not that I haven't had to think accountability for, like, I'm trying to.
This is the issue. No, I'll say this. I'm a flirtatious person. I'm very flirtatious. He knew that going into this relationship, so I definitely take accountability for being that flirtatious person. So. I have to really remind myself, it's not even remind myself, it just has to really make sure that I'm putting the relationship first, no matter what, because I think the flirtatiousness is what brought him to me in general. So I think he doesn't want me to get rid of it, you know what I'm saying? But he definitely wants me to make sure that, I'm aware that we are in a relationship, and at time, especially and I'll say at the beginning of the relationship. Now at this point in our relationship, 2.5 years down the line, I'm a different person. But definitely at the beginning of the relationship, I was a little wild.
Am I speaking on what? I'm speaking on my own.
You speaking on your own. Don't do me.
Okay. I think that, and this is because of past relationships and past situations, I'll take accountability to certain levels of insecurity, because I definitely was insecure in a sense of just trying to understand people, because me having so many people around me who have other intentions, I never thought he had other intentions, but I had an insecurity, you know what I'm saying, because of that. Like I said, my first relationship with a guy came out of nowhere, and like I said, when I looked up, I was in a relationship, and I'll just put it out there. I was in a relationship with somebody, and I thought that they would sneak off and do stuff, and I thought they was cheating, but it came out to be that they were a drug addict, and this person was on drugs, and I beat myself up about it because I was like, how the fuck did you allow yourself, you, out of all people, the man that you are, the person that you are, how did you end up with this person? How did you not see this? And so from that, I think it led me to be very insecure, because I think there were so many signs with that person that I tried to ignore because I was in love. And so now I look at every sign and everything, and I think sometimes it definitely pushes to point to where it makes me insecure. And I've been dealing with, insecurities a lot, as far as trying to, tone them down and to understand certain things. So I think that is the biggest thing that I had to be accountable for in a relationship, is the fact to say that, okay, you know what, I'm a little bit insecure. Yeah. And trying to do the work that I need to do on myself, to be at a better place, not just for him, but for myself.
A lot. I think I've had to take accountability for I think that I think my expectation of people sometimes is too high, and I'm hard on them. you know, I put you on this pedestal and I expect you to kind of like do what you need to do to kind of hold this position. And if you don't, I don't personally think I come down on people too hard. But I've realized that some people feel like maybe they can't live to Lacie's expectation of who they are, what they're supposed to be. And sometimes, you know, in that, I'm not always super duper considerate of them. I think I am. I think I'm very considerate of them. But maybe I'm not as considerate as I think I am. And so I've kind of had to take accountability just for kind of how I treat people. Whether it's, you know, I'm treating them any kind of way on purpose or not. I still have to, like, acknowledge that. What do you think? Is that true? Did I make that up?
I think how you ended it was great. You want me to comment on what? You want me to answer my own question or comment on what you just said?
That's what. That's your own question.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I think, I mean, my main thing as far as like being accountable is definitely just being honest with myself about myself. But I also feel like being with somebody that's so opposite of you shows you a lot of things that you've never seen before. And not in a bad way. It's just kind of like, you know, I didn't realize that I was this person, or I didn't realize I did this. I didn't realize I had this habit. Because if you're with somebody that's just so like you, you guys do the same thing and move the same way. And, you know, it's just, relationships are cults, just saying. But
relationships are cults?
Yeah. I feel like they can be, but if your partner isn't helping you grow as a person, like if you're just so used to being this person and moving this way and just people accept you for who you are, what you are, but nobody acknowledges it, like some of the things that she's told me, I can't really disagree with. I just never heard of before. Like I've never had to be responsible or accountable for that. Because I didn't know that was a trait. It was just me, you know what I mean? So me being accountable for the things that I should be accountable for and me not being fully honest about how I feel and sugarcoating things are definitely what I had to be accountable for. Yeah, I think. How about that?
That's spot on. What have I had to be accountable for?
Yeah, you might want to redo that one.
No, but I think that's the thing. It's like, I think... Now, like, just in our relationship or just in my dealings? Because in my dealings...
I think this was in relation to our relationship.
In our relationship, I think I've had to take accountability for maybe... I'm perfect.
Ooh, I can't wait for this answer. Ooh, I can't wait.
I think that sometimes I think that sometimes I can be one-sided. I think that I can be a little bit selfish. Like, this is what I want, and this is what I need, and it doesn't matter if you need something else. I'm not always super willing to like compromise in my relationship, not the way that like my partner does. And so I've had to kind of take accountability for myself that way and remind myself that I'm in a relationship with another person who also has needs as well. And sometimes that means happily compromise, not compromise and be frustrated about it or like irritated about it, but like happily compromise with them because their happiness is just as important as mine.
That's spot on. Good job.
Thank you.
Say whatever the fuck you want to out of your mouth.
I'm trying.
Yeah, because it's definitely not working. I'm telling you. I definitely stopped hanging. I feel like I stopped hanging up on you.
Yeah, because I'm mindful of what I'm going to say.
You started being mindful of what you were going to say. So it's not really hard for me to not hang up on you, but I feel like, hey, I'm going to teach you a lesson here. You hate when I hang up on you, and I hate when you say reckless shit out of your mouth.
Yeah, but I don't understand what I say that's reckless. Other than that, but that always comes after the ending of you hanging up on me. Or being
No.
weird.
No. Whenever my mood changes, it starts from you saying something off the wall. And it's so funny because
Or maybe
even
you
though
just have mood changes.
no, I'm emotional. You know I'm an emotional being. And then if I love you, little shit that you could normally say to somebody that they wouldn't give a fuck, you can say that and they'd be like, girl, shut up. But I'm your girlfriend. It's different. You can't just say.
I don't think I say things that are like really mean though.
It's not necessarily mean, but you might say it dry. You might say it, or, okay, for instance, when I was shopping for Jada for Christmas, I was super excited about shopping for her. And you were just kind of like, babe, you're doing too much. And I'm like, this is my first Christmas shopping for your daughter, and you're being a dweeb about it. And it hurt my feelings, and I remember hanging up on you several times.
Yeah, and I was kind of still lost as to why, but because it's not because I wasn't excited that was your excitement. I just don't celebrate
Christmas.
I don't celebrate it, so it's never exciting.
Then you should have faked the excitement or something, because I was excited.
Yeah, well, I didn't understand that.
Like if you're super excited about Ivy Park. I don't even get the whole big deal about Ivy Park.
I love Beyonce.
Okay, I don't. But if you're excited about it, I'm going to be excited about it too.
That's kind of different. Because I don't think that's different. I never really talk about
Beyonce, your daughter. How is it? What is the difference?
Because I never really Because this is it's a holiday. Like it's a
holiday that she's also excited about.
Not really, because
Jada is excited about
Christmas. She's excited about it
because she's getting gifts.
Everybody around, but not because of me. Because we don't really celebrate it.
One thing I've learned from Jaquel, I will honestly say his ambition. I've really learned that he really, whenever he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. There's little to no me reminding him. It's a lot of him reminding me. But I think his ambition is what I learned from him the most.
And what I learned from him is his determination for things. Because when he's determined about something, he's going to do it. Because he made a goal for himself this year with his own endeavors, and he's following through with them, even though he's lagging some of the time on them.
Well,
but he does get majority of them done.
Okay, I can say I do that.
He's a vlogger, so yes.
You taught me a lot about drive.
Okay.
Being driven. The whole story about your job, how you got your job, and how you started from the bottom and you just progressed and progressed and progressed and progressed. You don't meet a lot of people, younger people, in your age bracket. Not saying that you're young, you're just younger than me.
Right.
But who are driven in professions like that.
Right.
And have moved up and in management now, and that's just taught me a lot about staying persistent, doing what you say you're gonna do, being consistent, working hard, taking the crap.
Yeah.
Working towards moving forward while you still in the crap.
Right.
And still moving forward while you still in the crap.
Yeah.
And trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
That you have taught me that. And that has taken me a long way. That's why I was with my old job. That's what was keeping me going, because I was like, okay, if you can still go to work over there, I can still go over here to the ghetto and go get this coin and keep it moving. 8 hours is just 8 hours. But you definitely have taught me about drive and keeping going and not giving up. Even with my class coming up, I was discouraged because I did not sell as many tickets as I wanted to. And you kept saying, it don't matter how many people come in. As long as one come,
you're going to be good.
You've done what you wanted to do, and you set the standard, and you did what you said you're going to do. So that's being very driven. So I get that from you a lot. You didn't know that, did you?
I didn't know that. It was sweet.
Oh. Childish.
You've taught me a lot too. I think to make it a little warm in here, I think one thing I do appreciate that you taught me is that you taught me about the body. You taught me about how to actually, take your time, enjoy the moment. It's not just sex, but my body is my body. It's not just something you're just going to
slaughter,
and then move on.
Yeah.
So I will say I appreciate that, and it's made me, you know, think more deeper about sex and
being intimate.
Intimate, yes. Yeah. So I appreciate that.
I do
you
too.
taught me that.
Oh yeah,
you did.
I had a real bad problem with like organization, I would say, and like she helped me to be more focused and more organized and more. I can't think of the word right now.
Actually, make the step, I guess, to do it. That's what I would say.
But you know, she helped. They gonna understand.
She just showed me I could trust, I guess, and just really being with somebody, like, generally being with somebody.
All right, so I think the biggest thing I learned, you know, is how to slow down. Because I am a very fast paced. My mind is all over the place all the time. And I think sometimes he looks at me and he's probably like, you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, people say that to people all the time, but it's like when you actually hear it and understand it, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, learn how to slow down sometimes. Just slow down a little bit and enjoy the moment and just, you know, really just, you know, and just slow down.
I guess I from him I've learned definitely how to be more upfront and kind of just speak what I want. You know, be what's the word I'm looking for? Be not
aggressive.
Not necessarily aggressive.
Stern.
That might
decisive.
Be decisive. That's the one. Yeah. No, being very decisive because he's a very decisive guy. You know what I'm saying? Obviously he has a job title. He is CEO. He's making decisions every single day. I've definitely learned how to be more decisive because before him, I was definitely a little bit more indecisive. But now, you know, I'm not afraid to tell people what I feel about certain situations and, you know, what I feel. You know, if I want something, I'm not really just, you know, learn from him because he'll tell anybody whatever he feels like what's on his mind. I've become more open to doing that because before I was a little bit more timid, but now, fuck that shit.
Oh my gosh, I've learned a lot from Kia. I've learned mainly just what it means to be vulnerable again to someone else. You know, like when you're young and you're like, you know, out here fun loving with people, then you're more vulnerable with them. Like, you know. But then as you get older and you've experienced a lot more, you've gone through heartbreak or you've caused heartbreak, you can kind of become closed in. That was me and closed off. I find that I'm more closed off than my partner, and she's more just like open with me than I'm with her, even still, I guess, to this day. But I'm learning how to just be more open with my partner and be more vulnerable with my partner and get back to like a place for me where I can cry, you know, with my partner. Have I cried with you? Oh, yeah, the other day.
Yeah, right.
But
that was the first, and it had nothing to do with me.
No,
that's crazy. I was like, this is weird. How do I handle this? Like, you never cried for me about me. So how do I handle this? And I initially was just kind of like she's like, don't touch me. I was like, God, I don't know how to do this. This is tough.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I'm learning is just how to like be vulnerable with somebody.
I definitely think one of the things that I'm forced to have to learn from you is just kind of be unapologetically you. Unapologetically you. Period. Like in every shape, form, fashion, aspect, like good, bad, ugly, just be you and
don't apologize for it.
Yeah. So that's literally the main thing that I'm learning. There's a lot of other things too, but that's probably the main thing. Because that's one of the things I struggle with the most. Like, I'm always trying to avoid confrontations and just trying to resolve situations. Huh?
Please people.
Yeah, like, that's just how I've been. So, just kind of like, you know what, dog? I actually feel away. And here's why. So, yeah.
I really think I've learned how to be more open and more calm in certain situations, and really just having another like perspective on things that, you know, people sometimes are scared to tell you about yourself, but Nino isn't, you know what I'm saying? She gonna tell me what's up, and I'm gonna be like, who you think you is to tell me some shit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that could be, that used to be a problem before, like, we both are so fucking powerful, like,
yeah,
we both want to run shit, you know what I'm saying?
We both do run shit. That's the problem.
No, we both wanted to, but now we learning how to both run shit together.
Right.
Like, you know, instead of trying to, you know, see who about to run shit.
Like, what's up?
But yeah.
I've learned how to communicate. I've been horrible in my past relationships at saying how I feel. Not really saying how I feel. I take that back. Express, like, I'm not good at like talking out things or talking about things, and I still got a lot of growth in that area. But for the most part, I've definitely learned how to communicate with Corey. Corey makes it easy to talk to her. It's not really too much that I feel like, whether it's good or bad, that I can't say or that I can't like come to her about or talk to her. So I think that it's and I think that makes a world of a difference when you dealing with somebody or dating somebody that, you know, that you feel comfortable enough to talk to them about whatever it is. So I think that's where I'm at now, and that's something I've learned definitely from being with somebody who has made it easy for me.
Okay, from this relationship, I have learned that they are good people. So if you've been in prior situations that were really toxic, and I'm not just talking about like romantic relationships and people in general, like before I met her, it was kind of hard for me to accept that somebody could be this genuine, because I've never had that before. So just, yeah. And being that genuine person really helped me see the world in a different perspective. Yep.
What an answer. I would say, at least for me, or just like in relationships in general, like, they may say that there's no such thing as the perfect mate. I feel like I don't agree with that answer. Like, I feel like if it's something where you're true to yourself, you figure out who you are as a person, and you feel yourself, your mate will come to you. Because she certainly came into my life. And everything I asked for, it manifested in her. And thankfully, I was open up at the time, because even when it came to that app, I usually don't even do online stuff. I was just trying something different. And luckily, once the sign, I guess, was in front of my face, I took it. I didn't second guess. I didn't play around. Like, I made sure to step up, because that's exactly what I asked for. So,
It's
I thank you for what God gave me.
Right. The universe works in weird ways, because vice versa. I knew what I wanted, and like, I felt like I talked about it so much. Then when I got it, it was like, whoa, like I really manifested this. I talked about this, and I have it now. So it's crazy.
And like when it came before meeting with you, like I remember even having a conversation with my roommate at the time, and it probably wasn't even 2 weeks before I met her. And it was just like, man, if I had a partner, I just would like for somebody to be like A, B, C, D, E. And I wasn't like talking like something like when it comes for looks or anything like that, but just in personality and compatibility. And she hit me up like a week later. So,
hey. Yes, power on the tongue, basically.
Ooh, some new advice. on new couples.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up.
Yes, that's the biggest thing.
Learn each other as much as you possibly can. Of course, take your time with it, because if you have a plan with this one particular person, then there's no time limit. But definitely learn each other inside and out.
Most definitely, I would say also take that chance to get to know the person. Everything about that person, because that's the biggest part of having a sustainable relationship is knowing your partner. And also, they always say the first 5 years is the hardest, and that's even in a marriage as well. The first 5 years is going to be your hardest.
Shit.
Yes, because you're still learning, you're still going along the ways, and now you're doing it together. It's not just you by yourself. So you have to learn in those 5 years. Stuff is going to occur, but it's all in how you go about it and how you guys handle it and tackle it together. That's the main thing.
Communication is definitely another aspect, and being open. Well, that's the same thing as communication. That's it. Communication and what he said.
Yeah.